Hello and welcome to Mind Vomit. In this video, I'm bringing out the oil pastels again and I'm trying to draw Frankenstein. As you see right now, I have a drawing. It's kind of sped up. I don't think anybody really wanted me to draw this out. See me draw this out, right? So I sped the video up and we're just going to talk about this a little bit. I've always liked the old Frankenstein from the old black and white movie. He's always been cool. There's some cool pictures out there of him. And so I decided I'd do him in oil pastels. And this is the second time that I've used oil pastels. So we'll see how this goes. Right now, I'm using the Crayola oil pastels, and right there, I just smudged through the pencil. And I was freaking a little bit, you know, like, I was kind of like, oh great, now I just smudged the pencil into the freaking oil pastels. That's wonderful. And here I'm just throwing some green on it, hoping that works. But I'm using the Creola oil pastels as kind of a base layer to kind of stick the Mungio oil pastels down to. And I realized after using the oil pastels the first time that I shouldn't really worry about the smudge that I just made through the pencil, because the Mungios are going to cover it over. I mean, right now I'm really worried about this artwork, because I'm using these Crayola oil pastels and I'm like, this does not look good at all. And I'm just telling myself, you know that if you keep adding layers and you keep adding layers and layers, you'll add depth, and that depth will translate over well. So I don't know why you're worrying. But here you can see I whipped out the heavy hitters. The Mungios oil pastels are sitting there. And I'm kind of working with them. I'm not really sure what colors I'm going to use, but I know I want lighter colors in the first layer, because if I do like the scratches through the oil pastels with the screwdriver or whatever, I want those lighter colors to come through, which I learned from Black Bean CMS in a recent video, so all credit goes to him. But I'm just playing with them, and then I found this green. And this green, I didn't think I'd use this green. It was a really dark green, but it was really creamy. And usually if you find those in the Mungio pastels, if you find a color that's really creamy, it means it's gonna cover and blend and smooth really well. So I was using that to kind of lay in some real heavy shadows and stuff. I also kind of, I found a blue too, a dark blue, that worked really well too, and that's kind of what you see on his shirt underneath his chin there. Here I'm doing some lighter shading with kind of a minty, I think it's like a minty kind of like green color. Not really mint, it's kind of like a blue green, but it's got a mint hue to it, so it's kind of, it spreads really nice. It's super creamy. I really like this one. So I was going in there just kind of adding some highlights here and there. I'm just going through adding some more depth, adding some more highlights, and spreading them around and trying to get some texture to his skin, you know, like deep crevices and, you know, parts that stick out further, and just trying to work this stuff through here. And at this point, I still really have no idea what I'm doing. Like, I think everybody always thinks that, like, as an artist, you know what you're doing, and you're just gonna turn out these amazing pieces of artwork. And the fact of the matter is that half the time you have no idea what you're doing. You just keep working it until it just happens to turn out decent, you know. Even this one I'm not completely happy with all the way through. There's some issues here that I'm like, I think I could have done that better, but that's the way it goes, you know. Like, that's part of being an artist. The biggest part of being an artist is just learning how to work with your mediums, you know, like, and if you, and for the first 2-3 layers of this thing, I was worried. I was really worried. I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen. I just kept working with it and kept playing with it until it bended to my will. I don't think that's what happened at all, but whatever, you know. So here I am going in and just kind of like adding the head scar or whatever the hell it is, you know, darkening that in a little bit. I added that. I started with a magenta background back there, and then I went and added some like dark purple on the left hand side of it and kind of blended it across to the right, so that it went from like a dark purple to kind of like a magenta. Here I'm using like a dark green to add in some of the hairs, and then I whipped out the screwdriver, and this is amazing. Look at that. Look at that. Would you just look at it? Just look at it. The way it makes those hairs look. Oh my god. Like, that screwdriver was a lifesaver. It's a Phillips screwdriver, of course, but bringing that in there and just scratching those hairs in, wow, that added so much more depth to it. And so then I started playing around with, like, he's got like these little kind of bumpy looking things under his eyes, so I was playing around with just trying to like do a little scribble. Oh, and here's Manfred von Wren. Look at this guy. Of course, he's got to come in here and see what I'm doing. I mean, I don't know what his deal is. He'll come back. He will come back. You watch. But I was just going in here doing these little scribbles and stuff, trying to make texture. There he is again. There he is. And then he just sits down right on it. Like, are you working here? Because I'm not happy with this artwork, if I'm honest. What a turd. Like, get off the table, dude. I'm trying to do stuff here. He's got a cool waffle necklace though, so that's always cool. But I drag him off the artwork, and then he leaves that smudge. You see that smudge from the chin, the jaw, all the way down through the jacket? Yeah, I had to work that out. I wasn't happy about that, so I had to like kind of like smudge it a little bit and kind of fix it. But here I am pulling the tape off. This is just yellow painter's tape, like automotive painter's tape. It always makes me a little scared because I feel like I'm gonna rip the paper, but here's the finished product. It turned out pretty good. I'm happy with it. I like it. It's better than I thought it was gonna be in the beginning, but I really like it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Keep watching, like, comment, subscribe, and see you in the next video. Thanks.